Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Mark Bischoff, the president and CEO of Starnet Worldwide. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp.
So you've just had some meetings. We'll get to that in just a second. A little background, if you don't mind. I was looking back. I met you the first time in 2011, and at that time, you were working for Johnsonite, which soon became a property of Tarkett, and you were working alongside Carmen Pastore. You did that for a lot of your early career, and then you left, went to Mohawk, were there for a while, and then left to come to Starnet 2 years ago as the VP of Vendor Relations, and about 6 months later, you were promoted to this role now, right?
Yeah, that's a good timeline, and it's been a terrific experience.
Yeah, so because of COVID, you had to cancel your spring meeting, the physical one, and then you had to cancel the fall meeting, which was set for, I think, last week in Louisville, Kentucky. We're entering an era now where people are starting to meet, but the problem there was the Omni Hotel was damaged by some of the rioting in Louisville, so it really just wasn't an option, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't an option, and Omni's been a good partner through these challenges where we've had to make changes.
Yeah. So do you have a physical meeting scheduled for the spring?
So we're scheduled to be in La Costa April 22nd through the 25th.
All right, so let's move to the fact that you had a board meeting and a shareholders meeting. What are some of the highlights from that?
So the board meeting, we did do a reset. We see some changes in the marketplace around the manufacturers, challenges with supply today.
Right.
Obviously, there's been tremendous disruption in the manufacturing staffing. So we had some discussion around service levels and where everyone stands. We anticipate, hopefully, in the fourth quarter, a little bit of demand pickup, and we think that'll stress some of the service levels on the manufacturers. So we had to reset around that. Obviously, we're talking about a slowdown in 2021.
Yeah. The
infrastructure for the marketplace is broken right now. Not only do you have the manufacturing disruption, but the A&D community is very disrupted right now. Communication's challenging. They're not going to the office, especially in the major markets. So the design centers, whether it's Chicago or New York City, Los Angeles, have been highly disrupted by the virus. So the workers that would traditionally be feeding the pipeline on interior design and construction are not together in the office.
Yeah.
So it's a new world, and so we're anticipating major disruption there. And some of that can happen digitally or through online meetings, but a lot of that engagement is lost, obviously, as everyone tries to work through the new way of doing things. Major discussions around those changes.
Yeah. Another big factor with the Starnet organization is you continue to have one member that gets bigger and bigger every time I turn around, and that's Diversify. So they're a major player. That's an interesting dimension to the organization.
The Starnet traditionally has been a place for members of different sizes to get together and learn and share best practices and connect. Diversify is one model that's pretty unique today, but we also have private equity involved in the membership, and the Starnet organization has worked very hard to generate ideas for succession. Most of the time that's in the family, because most of these members are family-owned companies, but inside that, whether it's a family or a non-family leader that would manage that business, I think the Starnet organization has done a nice job traditionally of bringing those opportunities to the forefront so that family companies can consider all their options. So today they have more than they used to, and the board and the member committee has done a nice job of adjusting to the new reality. It's actually exciting because it gets people thinking about different opportunities.
Yeah. And actually with the Diversify, it's been mostly them picking up other members, so it's not really like they're going into new marketplaces, right?
Yeah, we've been fortunate as they acquire companies, they remain in Starnet. In addition, they've done some other things that have been helpful to us and attracting a lot more attention to flooring contractors as potential acquisition opportunities. It's interesting. We've seen all the consolidation on the manufacturing side over the last few decades, including across different material types, carpet, ceramic, and resilient, all ending up in one or two spots. But it's been interesting to see some of those trends also show up on the member side.
Yeah. So tell us about the health of the membership. You've just been together with them. The things I've heard is that the backlog has carried most of them, and business is not bad, but they're a little anxious about what's going to happen in 21, right?
Yeah, there's anxiousness. We have many members that have business development people and designers on staff, and this is the point where they can flex their muscles and show their expertise. In addition, we're counting on the members' long-term relationships because most of the Starnet members have a long reputation in the marketplace of doing quality work. So they have many end-user contacts that are counting on them to help adjust to this new environment. So the combination of member access to end users, in addition to their capability on the design side, we think their short term as the rest of the marketplace tries to get back to where they were, or some version of where they were, the members can take the lead position with end users in solving problems. How do you get people back into the work? Starnet member can help them. How do you make your employees feel safe when they return to work? Starnet members can help, especially the Starnet Floor Care group. So there's a lot of opportunity for the members to show their capability in this highly disruptive environment.
When you compare the rebate dollars for 19 and compare it to 20, do you think you'll be about the same pace in 20 as 19, or is this setback in these major markets where people had to shut down in April and May, is it going to impact you throughout the year?
I think it's foolish for us to assume that we won't fall back. We've been hopeful the whole time, and the members have been pretty aggressive on keeping their purchases in network.
Yeah.
And where they have discretionary business, they move it to the companies that support Starnet. But the challenge is we have some significant members in states that have been locked down. California has been very difficult, New England, New York City. In addition, our members in Canada have been having some trouble with having access to the market. We do hope there'll be a little bit of a bubble at the end of the year on demand, but you can't count on it because it's really week to week at this point.
Mark, I understand one of the initiatives you're working on is to build out a website for each one of your members that's part of a network. Is that right?
Yeah. Kemp, the initiative is designed to provide more value to each Starnet member. Yeah. So many of them will have their own websites, and they'll continue to do that. But what we're trying to do is expand our digital footprint to match the physical footprint of the Starnet membership across the United States and Canada. And we have some long-term plans that will continue that build-out. But initially, we just want to get the sites up for 325 member branch locations in the coming year.
Any other initiatives that we need to highlight?
Yeah, so the vendor-partner connection with the members, when things are tough, they're counting on us. So the members have made a commitment to move as much business in network as possible. And I think in this kind of environment, it's vital on the manufacturing side. The other challenge that we've got to work through is this assumption that people won't return to the office. We've seen that take different paths through the years. There have been some major companies that tried the experimentation with work from home and saw their productivity numbers drop dramatically. So far, the productivity is held up, but I think long-term there's going to be some other issues that show up around developing talent. There's not a lot of upward mobility if you're not in meetings, and it'll be interesting to see people start to raise questions about, well, I didn't get my promotion because I'm work from home and someone else is in the office more often, and therefore they got the promotion. So we anticipate and are excited about the long-term return to the workplace, and we're preparing for that norm to return. Space is going to look different. Total square footage may or may not be down, but it's certainly going to be different. A mix between suburban and urban office, along with some flexibility in schedules. Some other segments, the trends will accelerate. So the members will have to get prepared to respond in retail, where the total square footage, I think, has been trending down. But at some point, it's going to stop and pivot. We're going to take an active approach to try to anticipate some of those changes, get the members prepared to respond, whether it's directly with the end user or working along with the A&D community to make that happen, and bring the manufacturing partners along with us so that we can solve those issues. It's an exciting time for the membership.
And so let's ask you real quick on that. You had about 180 members last time I checked. Is that about what it is now?
Yes, we have been successful in recruiting this year. We're excited about the trend, but we're, I think at this point, 183. I think in this environment, interest in membership is much higher because to do this on your own as an entrepreneur is very, very challenging, and it's much easier if you're part of a cooperative like Starnet.
All right, Mark. Well, I appreciate the update on what's going on with the Starnet group of commercial flooring contractors. Again, been talking to Mark Bischoff, the president and CEO, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.